Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us here at Good Bytes. I am Brad Waid, and as you know, my co-host, Michelle Moore. How are you, Michelle?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Another week has gone by. It's another week of distance learning and working from home, parents, kids. I know you're doing the same thing, being a stay-at-home mom now and working.
I'm living the dream. I am literally the American dream, right? Like stay-at-home mom and full-time career woman. It's great. It's everything that they promised it would be.
That's so awesome. Yeah. So, as we mentioned in our last show, we're just getting used to the new norm. And as things start lifting, we're in, 5, 6, 7 weeks of COVID-19 lockdown. And it's brought a lot of interesting things to light, which we'll also share a little bit about. But, it's nice to see you. Glad you had a great week. And so let's start with some good news. I'll share some of my good news first. One thing I saw on social media this week was it's a 16-year-old. His name is TJ Kim. He's a sophomore in Bethesda, Maryland. He doesn't have a driver's license yet, but what he is doing, he has a pilot's license. So what he's been doing, he's actually been flying PPE supplies to rural hospitals in Maryland. And that's just absolutely incredible. I know, right?
Wow, that's insane. And he's a sophomore?
Yeah, he's a sophomore. He's finished. I guess he's doing school from home right now. But yeah, he's a sophomore, doesn't have a driver's license, but has his pilot's license, and we'll put the link below and you can see him right here. He has been delivering PPE to rural hospitals to deal with their situation. And I thought that was a great piece of good news to share this week.
That is. And now I'm curious. So do you have your drone license?
I do not have my drone license. Okay. Do you?
No, but I did attend a workshop with an official drone pilot who does the certification classes and was sharing like the cost of it. And I had no idea how much people paid to get certified to fly their drones commercially.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, my older boys are in the room right now, and my oldest has a drone. He doesn't fly it commercially, but he uses it, to film in HD and stuff like that. He just finished his degree in film. And so he's done a lot of work with that for his, for his degree. So that's fascinating. And little connection here. It's funny. Of course, since we're binging and watching a lot of shows, funny thing is the History Channel's been playing stuff that I'm sure they dug out of the archives. And I was watching something. It was like the treasure or the burial tomb of Genghis Khan. And I was like, oh, this is great. I've been watching it. And all of a sudden they were talking about, we're using advanced technology. And he was talking about, we've got this copter that goes up and can take pictures from the air. And I'm like, I looked at it, I'd call it a drone. They said, this is the octocopter. And I'm like, that's so weird. I've never heard it called an octocopter. And it was like, what I did is I hit the info button, and it was from 2011. And so I'm like, wow. So this was a precursor to the drone. It looked like a drone, but obviously it had 8 propellers instead of 4. And it was funny because the drones now, you see them just launch and they're just like so fluid. This was, they had to launch it by throwing it in the air, and they couldn't really land it. The guy had to run over and catch it. So I'm like, this had to be a while ago. So it was crazy that was, 9 years ago, and, new on TV, but, it's funny how technology evolves over time.
That's wild. That's funny. I'm glad you checked the date on that to figure out what was going on. I would hate to come on here and be like, guys, I heard about the new drone.
Right? And it was, well, it's funny because, what if I said, oh, there's this new octocopter coming back. Next thing you know, we're getting a comment going, that was 2011, Brad. Way to go.
Keeping it fresh, keeping it relevant.
Exactly. But hey, I saw when I looked at our show notes, I saw you had a bit of good news that you wanted to share.
Yeah, the coolest thing I saw this week. It's really neat, and depending on how much of a nerd you are, how much you've been following eSports, you may or may not love it, but the Anaheim Ducks out in California are hosting a Minecraft face-off. So teachers can register their esports teams, or anybody can probably register, but I thought of it from the lens of education. And they are having 3 different challenges where students and teams sorry, I keep saying students, can take on 3 different challenges. One is a hockey team logo design, a jersey design, and a hockey arena design challenge. And all of that is built in Minecraft. So if you are like really into, Minecraft building, I know my kids watch Minecraft YouTube videos all day long. It's absurd. This is a really fun way to combine them. And I don't know if you guys know, but this is all through NASEF, which is the North America Scholastic Esports Federation. And they're very close with the Anaheim Ducks. They've partnered with other NHL leagues to really support esports in their communities. And the prizes are really, really awesome. So we'll put the link in the show notes so you guys can check that out because you have a while to register.
Wow, that is awesome. And that's we would love to hear from the esports community and the Minecraft community. Please, share your thoughts, your input, your resources on social media. We'll have these links below. But hey, Steve Isaacs, yeah, that's you, and others. Please share your thoughts on all of this. We'd love to hear more. So great story. I mean, esports is just, going crazy right now. I mean, if you go back and look at my keynotes, I've been talking about League of Legends for about 4 or 5 years now and just how big it is. But now with all the esports arenas being built and, the curriculum, not only in college, but in high school and, professional athletes owning teams, it's just absolutely what a great time is to see all the esports taking off. So
I'm going to give a shout out to my runner-up that I almost did for Good News. There was a big story on the FSU Esports League, Florida State University, and they did a little expose in the local news on one of their famous players. And it was like, who is, I think his player name is like Good BTW or Goods BTW. And they did this whole story. And I thought this is just so crazy in all of our madness with social distancing. I keep seeing more and more highlights of esports because we're kind of going that way, whether we want to or not. Everyone's got to get their fix somewhere.
Yeah, and it's absolutely incredible. And I'll do a shout out to Cloud9. That's my favorite League of Legends team. And, there's a lot of great players out there, Faker and others. So just keep checking out esports. And this is great. This is exciting. So thanks for sharing that, information. I love it.
Awesome.
All right. So, my boys are in the room and they're both playing League of Legends right now and they're laughing. So, all right. So, hey, Michelle, what made you laugh this week? We're going to get to our STEM and tech resources in a minute, but what made you laugh this week?
What made me laugh this week came from a woman who tweets often and makes me laugh even more often. So Mayor from New Jersey tweeted out, "What kind of Zoom person are you?" And somebody made this really great video on the different types of people we see on Zoom meetings. And it's the ones who are eating, the ones who, have the sun in their face. They go through all the different personalities. And it's almost like a fun game to play and be like, yep, I've done that. I've been that person. I've been that person. I was almost every person in the video. So I am guilty as charged. But it's just been really fun to see all these little Zoom meeting memes in our new normal.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've seen a lot of the, on the Instagram stories, people are posting like this or that or different bingos. And there's also like, what house would you be stranded in, pick your house and all that. So there's a lot of fun. We'll put some of those down there. We'll definitely put the one that you talked about. We'll see if we can put some of the other resources in there. And in the midst of, if you listen to our last show, in the midst of, the struggle and everything that's going on, it's nice to find some levity, find some laughter, get the silver linings. And that's what we're here to share. All right, so let's move on to our good bites. And our good bites, for everybody that's wondering, these are our resources, and they're typically going to be around STEM and science and technology. So those are going to be our good bites for the show. So Michelle, why don't you start with your good bite, and then I'll share mine.
Yeah, so I found, a lot of great resources are being shared. I think a group that is struggling a little bit more than others to find resources is early childhood teachers. And I came across PBS Learning. They have lessons that they've curated for distance learning during this time, pre-K through 12. So even if you're an early childhood teacher, you can find things, and they have really great STEM lessons, but they also have other content areas as well. It's completely free. The lessons, a lot of them are multimedia lessons. They have videos that the kids can watch. There's printouts that people can use, and a bunch of other really useful resources. And teachers can create an account for free. They integrate with Google Classroom, or they could just use it with whatever way they're pushing out learning with their students. But I thought that was really neat that somebody was thinking about our, pre-kindergarten youth and how they're going to continue learning during this time.
Yeah, that's great. What a great resource to share. And, it's always, we're learning how to deal with this new normal, as you just mentioned. And, it's going to look different in every household, in every school. Some people feel more comfortable, some people less. And so it's great to share resources. And I love this one, like you said, especially for early childhood or even pre-K. Look, they're still learning all the tools. They're still doing, all their physical motor abilities and activities and learning. So it's very important to be thoughtful for all students. And in this case, we're talking about early education and pre-K. So thank you for sharing that. And we'll be sure to put the link in the resource below.
You're welcome. And I'm excited to hear about your good bite this week. It caught my attention when I saw it in the notes for sure.
Yeah, so it's it's something from Google, and it's Google Images AR, and it's not something special that you have to do, but I've been seeing people play around with it. And so what it is in 2019, Google had stated that they were going to, if you search for a certain number of images, and it's typically animals right now, that once they're populated in the Google engine, and it's in mobile. This is for your phone or your tablet, a mobile device. So if you type in tiger, now the trick is, it's not a trick. So I say Google Images. You don't go to images. You just go to the Google search engine, you can type in tiger, and then it'll say see it in 3D or put it in your space. You just simply click on it, and we'll put the link to the little video below. And all of a sudden, like, you can have a tiger or a different animal right around in your space. And the crazy thing is, Michelle, is this augmented reality is really coming full circle, because, this was something, that, Drew and I, and, we were sharing a long time ago. And now it's just becoming such a new normal and expectation that I love it, that it truly is becoming, something that, we don't even really have to even just, use the terminology. It's just like, oh, we've got a tiger in the room, a 3D tiger. And, people kind of get that that's the way it works. And, Pokemon Go and different things like that. So if you haven't tried it, you should try it. Have you tried it yet?
I haven't tried it, but I saw a lot of memes with the, making fun of Tiger King and people posting photos with a tiger in their living room. I can't remember who was it. Maybe it was Nicholas Ferroni tweeted. I think he was the one that tweeted it out the first time I saw it. But it was so neat. I was like, this is crazy. And I think back to your point, when we make technology that accessible is when it really takes off. So I think, augmented reality has obviously been around for a while now, but now is when people are really going to start using it every day, or maybe it's going to become more prevalent in everyday people's lives and not just, nerdy people's lives.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this. Michelle, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you've ever done this, okay? And you have to say something so the camera will go back on you. Have you ever used a filter on Snapchat, Facebook, or Instagram?
Oh, yes, I have definitely used. Yes,
right? So
you
put a face on or horn, a unicorn or anything, right? Okay. So that's AR. That's, it's so funny because, that was one of the early ones, and I have a term for it. Well, I can't, I'm going to blank right now. We'll edit that out. But anyways, those filters are augmented reality. So what I term that is when people are using filters and adding things and using any type of AR in their life, it's called digital overlap. And that's basically just saying we are more and more comfortable with, using digital technology and even putting it on our body, basically, you put the little freckles on your face or whatever. Like, I've even seen the eyelashes on Instagram, stuff like that. like digital overlap, because that's what we're doing. We're using digital assets to put over top of us as humans. And it's a really fascinating idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that definitely, you're right. That was definitely probably the most mainstream way that it got out. But that's to like a very unique group or age group.
Yeah.
Since we don't all Snapchat and Instagram. And I'm excited to just see it used for something else other than false eyelashes and freckles and glasses.
Yes, exactly. And, so think about the imagination that we're going to start spurring in kids now, be able to put populate animals inside their house, especially in quarantine, So, there's a lot of great apps out there too, but with, putting that in the Google search engine, that just really increases the accessibility for so many, millions and hundreds of millions of people. So I love seeing when technology becomes mainstream and adopted by the masses, because then we, as educators and leaders, we can use it to change the way we learn, to push thought, push learning in kids, in our own, in our own area of industry, of work, whatever. So yeah, super exciting time. So Google Images, AR, check it out. We'll have a link below. And there you go. So those are the good bites for this week.
I'm going to add too, if you guys want to tweet at us what you're using Google AR images for, I would love to see how you're using it during this time. Maybe you're starting your own crocodile hunter show from your living room, like whatever creative thing you're doing with it, please tweet at us, share with us. I would love to see it. I get such a kick out of it. People are so creative.
You know what? I think that warrants a impromptu contest now. So when this show airs to the next time the next show airs, which will be a week, here's the challenge. Who comes up with the most creative Google AR picture on social media? But you have to tag both Michelle and I. If it's on Twitter, you share it on Twitter. If it's on Instagram, you put it on Instagram, but you have to tag us. And we'll be looking for the most creative. Maybe we'll even pick two winners, because Michelle and I can both pick one. And we will grab a prize for you, and we will give two away to winners. What do you think about that?
I love that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, so we're looking for you, see how creative you can get, and be sure to share with us. Tag us. You have our social media handles below. And also use the hashtag #GoodBytes, like the name of the show. That'd be great. So awesome. Okay, Michelle, so here we are. We start the end of the broadcast. So now it comes down to, all right, what are you streaming this week?
So I don't have a lot of time to stream, but
I'm with you. So we call it what are you streaming or what are you binging, but basically, what can you share that you've watched that others might want to check out? So we'll do that.
So I'm actually recommitting to Westworld because I've heard some amazing things about season 3. I didn't finish season 2. It was kind of like too spaced out for me, and I just couldn't quite complete the season. I think I started watching something else that took over. So I'm recommitting to finishing season 2, which I think I only have 2 episodes left, and finally starting season 3 of Westworld. And I've heard such good things, and I have to give a shout out to my friend Christopher Holt, who has encouraged me to take this on. He was like, just start from season 1, watch the whole thing. It's amazing. I was like, I'll never finish. But I am excited. I love good storytelling, and I like the take that, they put out there and kind of Black Mirror-ish on alternate future realities.
Yeah, that's great. And not knowing that was what you were going to share until tonight, it's funny because I was talking with 2 guys today that I do some work with, and both of them brought up Westworld. And I've never seen it, and so I'm going to have to.
You gotta watch it. Yes, watch it.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it, but the more I heard them talk about it today, it definitely sounds like it's in my wheelhouse, so I'm going to have to check it out.
It is such good storytelling and character development. It's really good. But never.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to have to start checking that out because I'm already going through like stuff I watched for a second time. So Westworld's going to be on my short list.
So I know we don't have a lot of time, but what do you make time to stream?
Okay, yeah. So what I'm currently, and I've been with this show since the beginning, season 7 of The Curse of Oak Island is on right now, and I can't really binge it because it's still week to week on the Discovery Channel. and it's on Tuesdays. So its season finale is actually coming up next week. Actually, it's tonight, but it's a week from now. So The Curse of Oak Island it's a nonfiction reality show where some brothers from Michigan actually have purchased most of the land in an island off of Nova Scotia in Canada, and there are stories of treasure being buried there. And so starting in the first season, they just started digging and using maps, and they'd find a little bit. Well, season 5, season 6, they started finding all kinds of stuff. And season 7 is getting better and better. And it's like a real life treasure hunt. But they're actually, finding information and getting answers. And, it's really cool. It's nice to see, especially supporting some local Michigan people. So it's kind of cool. So The Curse of Oak Island, you saw the graphic a second ago. We'll put the link down below. And then, all right, so that's it. So now moving on, I want to hear, Michelle, what's on your playlist? Give me one good song that you are listening to right now.
I'll give you one great song.
Do it. I can't wait.
I don't know if it's great, but it's good. So if you don't know, a lot of beaches around the country are starting to open up again. And where I lived in Tampa, they're opening up the beaches soon in Pinellas County right next door. So my song kind of goes with that. It's called The Sun is Shining. And every time I hear it, I feel like I'm at the beach and I can feel the sun shining down on me. And it just makes me really happy. And I have to do my little public health advisory. For those of you that are going out, please be safe and be well and try to practice social distancing, wear masks, and just prioritize whatever you need to for your family and make the choices that are right for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
No, that's absolutely perfect. And it's funny because I see that's from Axel and Grosso, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is I have a song. I don't know this one, but do you know his song Dreamer?
I probably have it on a playlist.
You'll have to check it out if you don't. Dreamer is a song by him, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to have to check yours out. All right, now it's funny because your story, the sun is shining. Did you see mine, right?
Yeah.
So mine is called If the World Was Ending. It's kind of funny that we're on.
I just want to say this is the difference between Florida and Michigan people. Like, people don't understand why we're so happy down here, and we don't understand why the world is always ending up there.
It's so funny because this was called If the World Was Ending. It's by J.P. Sachs and Julia Michaels. Julia Michaels has a couple songs, Jump and Issues, and this one came on satellite the other day. And it's funny because obviously I'm sure they wrote it before Corona lockdown for COVID-19, but they're talking about a big earthquake hit, and they're saying, hey, if the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Like, they haven't been together for a year, but like, hey, if this was it, they're each other's person. And that's the kind of the story of the song. So it's kind of a sweet song in a very trying time. I thought it was interesting, the world's not ending, but we're definitely strained. It's a different time. And then when I saw your song, I thought it was great. Here we go. We got one on each end, which is classic.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang. So check them both out. They're in the links below, obviously. And then, okay, so just as we're getting ready to wrap up, we have our new segment, Shoutouts, educator Shoutouts. So, Michelle, do you have somebody you'd like to shout out this week?
I do, and I don't know them, but I read about them. There was the Pottsboro, Texas library had a drive-in eSports tournament. So I know it ties back to the Minecraft tournament. It was crazy. I'm telling you, I see eSports everywhere. It's like insane. But they found a way to have a drive-in eSports tournament, very similar to like a drive-in movie theater. So shout out to the Pottsboro Library Director in Texas, Diane Connery, who I have no idea who she is, but I will find her. I have the article that mentions her, and I just think it's a great example of educators going above and beyond and finding a way to make students feel connected while we're all staying safe at home.
I love that. What a great shout out. And again, esports keeps coming back around, and I think we're just going to continue to see it, increase more and more. And what a great thing to see, a drive-in esports tournament. I love it. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I will share mine now. So my shout out goes to an educator. Her name is Autumn Matson. She was the principal of Creative Technologies Academy, but she recently got the job and she interviewed for superintendent. So now she is the superintendent of Creative Technologies Academy. She is a very good friend of mine. Her husband is actually one of my children's godfathers, and he was my roommate in college. And so it's nice to see that, he married such a nice person. Autumn, great family, 2 boys. They live on the west side of Michigan. You can find her. I'll share her information below, but her account is really inspirational. It's about, strength and being brave. One of her things that, she likes to share also is be brave, be you. And so please check her out, especially her Instagram account. The link's below. It's very uplifting, very positive, and I just wanted to give her a little shout out because she's putting such good vibes, and she's a great fit for the show, Good Bytes. So please, she doesn't know I'm sharing this. Please say hi to her on Instagram. I believe she's on Twitter too. I know she is. So go say hi and
congratulate her.
Yeah, and congratulate her on the new position, Superintendent of Creative Technologies Academy. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So Michelle, thank you again. This is, always wonderful doing the show with you. I love us putting out good stuff into the world, and it's nice. Like you said, the yin and yang is really nice. So thank you again for joining me as always and sharing your good information with the world.
You're welcome. I'm very thankful to be a part of this space, and thank you for creating this so that we can share some of the good that's going on. And to our listeners, please, please, please go to bradwaid.com. Check out Educators Corner. We have resources for you, for parents, for educators, for anything that you need, as well as this show.
Thank you so much. Yes, please check out all the resources. Please get connected, Michelle and I. Use Good Bytes. Ask us questions. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to talk with you online on social media. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Michelle. Have a great night, everybody. Join us again next time and stay connected. We'll see you later.